Hi, Tefl-Dude here. This is just a quick video showing you how to install the new version of Windows 11, that's the 23H2 version, onto a Surface Pro 5 as a clean install. Please remember, this is going to be a clean install, not some kind of recovery from a backup file. This is going to wipe clean the internal hard drive with a fresh install, so don't worry about activation, as once you connect to the internet, Windows will recognize that you had a professional version or a home version, and it will activate it automatically. Check out my previous video in the link above where I show you how I installed the first version of Windows 11 on this Surface Pro 5. As you can see, I installed Windows 10 onto it because I was having issues with the battery life, which was dying when it got to 40%. Now, if this happens to you, don't go messing around with settings or apps or drivers, because the main issue is probably the battery, as it was with mine. Since I've changed the battery, it's been wonderful. I've been getting 5 to 6 hours out of it. So check out the link above where you can see how even as a beginner you can take off the screen quite safely of any Surface Pro tablet and put in a new battery, and the battery cost me £60. So now my tablet will probably last me another 5 years. So here we are, and we're going to install Windows 11 version 23H2 onto a Surface Pro 5, even though the Surface Pro 5 doesn't really have the requirements for Windows 11. Surface Pro 6 does, but this doesn't. And you should be able to use this clean install method on all versions of Surface Pros. Note here that you do not need to do anything with the registry. And the reason for that is we are going to install the final ISO file onto a USB using RUFUS. And you can see here, it circumvents the need for the RAM and the TPM2, which we have, but we don't have the right processor. So this gets rid of all of that requirement, plus you don't have to have a Microsoft account. So the next thing we need to do is we need to download the ISO file. That's the first thing. And very quickly, just to remind you, we're going to go through steps 2 to 5, how to prepare this USB. That's the most difficult part, but we're going to do that for you. And I'll send you this document as well. And finally, we'll install Windows. So let's first download Windows 11. I've given you the link. Click on the link and go straight down to this part where you choose Windows 11 and it says download now. Now you have to confirm the language you want. You can choose any you like. I chose English United States. I press confirm. (64-bit) download. And you can see on the top here, it says it's going to be about 30 minutes and it is 6.3 gigabytes. So it's very, very large. Now I'm going to stop that because I've already done it. So here is my file, the one that I downloaded. You can see it's 6.24 gigabytes. Now what we have to do is right click and make a new folder. Now this is Windows 11, so I'm doing it this way. If you're on Windows 10, probably this is how it would look for you. And you want to make a new folder. And I'm going to rename this folder. But I've already made a folder like this and I've renamed it, and here it is. And I've named it 23H2 FAT32. You can do the same if you want, and that way you could copy my installation text. So let's open this folder, and what we want to do is empty this ISO file into here. Now, most of you, if you double click on it, it will probably open up in Windows Explorer. You could right click and open like this, or go open with, and open Windows Explorer. Like I say, if you're on Windows 10, it probably looks like this, and you'll go open with Windows Explorer. I'm going to double click it because I know it's going to open with Windows Explorer. But I may have to wait a little while. Now on my screen, up has popped this security warning about opening the file because I put always ask, but I'm quite happy to open this. And there is all our files. I'll just remove this preview. And what I'm going to do is drag all of this into this area here. So I'm dragging it out of the ISO and into this new folder. Okay, so now we don't need this ISO file anymore. I'll put that back on the other monitor. So as you can see in my folder, I click on sources and you can see there is a 6 GB file. If you can't see it, just click on the word name and then click on size and it should arrive at the top. If it doesn't, just click size again. You will also notice that I can see the words .wim, and that's important for when we're changing it, that you can at least see the file extensions. If you're on Windows, I'll show you here. Now in order to view the extension files of .wim, .swm, what you need to do is on Windows 11 you go to these dots, view, show, file name extension. If you're on Windows 10, again you click on the view box area and then click file name extension. So that's that. And then you will see these file extensions. Now I have to convert this into 2 files that are smaller than 4 GB. Now in order to convert this WIM file into 2 SWM files, which is what's going to happen, we need to copy the text here of where the source is. So the first thing you need to do, I need to get this source. I need to find the name of the address. So I simply right click it, copy address as text. And you'll notice once I paste it in here, it's exactly the same as what I've got. So that's how you copy this text. And it's this text that needs to go into here. So everything above needs to go H deployment image. That's what we need. And you replace it there and you replace it here also. H deployment image. So let's do that now. So I'm going to copy this, copy, do 2 down and paste it here. Simply copy your text from here, copy, and replace it with where it says H image. Paste, H image, paste. And now I have this text. That's the text I need to put in later in PowerShell. So let's now open PowerShell and we're going to split that file. Click on PowerShell here. It pops up like this. Click on Run as Administration. Okay, so let's check what we have to write to get this to work. The first thing we have to write is cd/. Okay, the button's flashing there. Let's copy cd/. cd/. And now we're not in the Windows system, we're just in the C drive. Next, it says copy cd and then your folder like this, cd and all of this. So that was the folder from the beginning, yeah? Here. So you put cd in front of it and copy that. So I'm going to copy that, go in here paste. And now you can see I'm only in C drive and the desktop folder. This is where I have to put in this long text that I've made. So let's do that again. Control C or right click copy. And then here simply Control V paste. Now I'm going to press enter. And you simply sit back and wait for those files to be made, and they should arrive in this box here. And you can see at the bottom it's already said operation completed successfully. It hardly took any minutes at all. I'm going to close this out. I don't need it again, and I don't need this again. So there you can see is the 5 GB file, and here is the SWM 4 GB, SWM 1.5 GB. Now simply delete this 5 GB file. You don't need it. And there is our Windows 11 installation file of FAT32. What we need to do now is this folder, we have to convert it into an ISO file. And to do that, I want you to download this official ImageBURN program. It is free. The link, it will be in the document. So in this text file that you'll find, here is the link for ImageBURN. Simply, when you click on it, you can just click on the very first mirror. However, if you're from another country, you can click on Spanish, Polish, whatever you like. So I'll just click on the first mirror here. Then I click here to download. And you'll see there it has arrived. You can see I've already downloaded it before and I've installed it. However, if you want to see how the installation goes, up pops this message. Next, I agree to the terms. Next, just go next, ImageBURN next, next, and it's done for you. It's that quick. And then it says, thank you for installing ImageBURN. Yay. Now, click Finish and run the ImageBURN software. I have the icon over here somewhere. So the icon will look something like this. I'm just going to double click it. And here is the ImageBURN software. Simply to create an image from the folder, the files in the folder, click here. This is so simple. You're going to love this. It's in the document, so don't worry if I talk too quickly. Click Browse for the folder. Now our folder is on the desktop, so I click Desktop, and this is the one. This is the folder that I've chosen. Next, where do I want it to be downloaded to, the destination? I'm going to say My Documents is fine, and we'll call it the same name as the folder, but it will have ISO at the end of it. Next, you have to click on Advanced and Boot Disk. Here, make image bootable. Then here, you click on Browse for File. Now, if you don't see this, go to your desktop, open that folder again, open the boot folder and click on ETFS boot and open that. And you can see that's loaded. Before you go, change this number 4 to number 8. If you forget, don't worry, it will warn you and say, by the way, I'm going to change it for you, and that's fine. Now we're simply going to press this button to go. A few pop-ups might happen, but just click OK. Here, you only selected one folder. Would you like me to add the contents and not show the folder? That's what I want. I just want them to put the contents as an ISO file. So I'll say yes. Here again, they want to name the volume label. That's fine. Whatever. Yes. Again, more information. Yes. And this takes a very little time, and eventually there'll be some music that pops up. And there's the noise, a little jingle. And that's it. Let's close this and go to my documents. Okay, so now I'm in my documents. Okay, now I'll do date modified, and it should come up with the file at the top. Here it is. Now it does create an MDS file as well, but we don't need that. Don't worry about that. The ISO is what we want. And now we have the ISO, we can use RUFUS. RUFUS is going to be the one that creates it and puts it on a USB file. Simply go to the website rufus.ie/en and simply download the latest one, 4.3. Once again, I've downloaded it numerous times. I'll just double click on it. Here up pops RUFUS. You can see I've got a 128 gigabyte pen drive. Don't worry, I already installed Windows 10 or something, so you got these two files. But the great thing about RUFUS, it will just wipe it clean. I just want to show you something actually. Let's go to the downloads one. This is the original Windows 11, okay? Now notice when I select it, I cannot change this NTFS into anything. I can't make it FAT32, which is why we had to convert it. So notice when I select a different one, the one we made, the document, this one. Now I open this and you can see I can choose NTFS or I can choose FAT32 large. That's what I've chosen, and now I'm going to press start. And as you can see here, the requirements 4 GB, it removes that requirement and the TPM, and it removes the need for Microsoft Online account, disable data and BitLocker, everything. And I just click OK. And now it will, well, it started. Warning, all data will be erased. Sure, erase the data. And then it's creating it for me. So that's our USB done. Now, actually I've made one earlier here, a bit like Blue Peter. So I've made one earlier, and now we're going to install this into the Surface Pro 5. As you can see, I've got the Windows 10 operating system on my Surface Pro 5. I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to plug in this pen drive now. You'll see it going in the side here. So I'm going to plug that in. I am also going to remove there was a little card I had at the back, one of these cards in the back. I'm going to remove that because I don't want to accidentally install on top of that. So there you can see the device is ready. I'm going to switch off now and boot up by holding the on button and the power button. So shutting down. So now I'm going to hold the volume up and press the on button and then let go. So here I go. You probably can't see it because my hand's in the way. I'll do it from the top. So pressing the volume down and then power on, let go, keeping my finger on the volume, and you can see the device has arrived with the BIOS. Only two things we have to do is the security. It says here, I'll let you focus in there. I'll let you see it says secure boot enabled. We have to disable that. So we press that and press none. Press none, press OK. And you can see it says secure boot is disabled. Finally, we can leave the rest, go to boot configuration, and normally it should have enable boot configuration lock. That should be on, but it isn't on because I was installing some stuff the other day. So we have to turn that off, and that allows us, see, with it on, I can't move USB to the top, so I have to turn it off, and now I can move USB to the top, and you can see there USB is now on the top. And all we have to do is exit, and then everything will begin. The red bar at the top means I'm definitely in the USB mode, BIOS mode. Now, some of you don't have the keyboard, but it's a good idea if you have a USB mouse or something. Now, it says English, and obviously I want the United States, but I'll choose a keyboard which is British. Don't know if you can see that. I can focus you in there. And then it says next. So actually I could probably zoom in this way. Yeah, you can see it's a bit blurry, but it's there. Next. Oh yeah, so the touch doesn't work on the screen. Yeah, you do need a keyboard or maybe a mouse. Install now, and I'll just zoom out a little bit there so you can see. Okay. Yes, so I'm going to accept the Microsoft software, click next. Now you must do the second one here, the custom install. It has to be, and everything has to be wiped clean. So if you're trying to if you leave anything there, recovery or anything, it won't work. Okay? So don't write to me saying, oh, it's not working if you're doing this stuff. You must delete everything. Until you only have one thing left, and that's it. Which is why I never left the other card in. I could have deleted it without knowing. So just click next, and simply we just have to wait now until it's done it. I will fast forward in order that you don't have to deal with the longevity of an install. And there you have it. And that literally took about 5 minutes. Definitely not 10. Okay, now let's see if we are allowed to finish the install. So I'm going to keep the United Kingdom. I'm going to stick to this keyboard. I'm going to skip everything else, just to make it go faster. It's another good reason not to connect to the internet, because it'll just do loads of downloads and it can take forever. We want to get this up and running as fast as possible. No internet. Continue with limited setup. Okay, so I'll enter my name. Password, I'm just going to make it simple. 12345, 12345. And later you can change it. Just give it a simple one for now. And as usual, you get asked these stupid 3 questions. So I'll do that. I'll pause and do that quickly. So I've done my 3 initial questions to remind them who I am. Okay, we're at the 15-minute mark now, so going strong. And that's it. 15 minutes, and it was installed. As long as you don't connect to the internet. Now, once I connect to the internet, all these icons will change. I'll have probably advertisements for Office and things like that. So why don't we check that now? Let's reboot and turn off that red bar that comes on. So let's fix the Microsoft only boot again. So I'm going to turn it off and turn it on again through the BIOS. So I'm going to shut down, and now I can take out the USB, and then once again I'm going to press the volume up and then the power very quickly. So volume up and then power on and off, and then let go of that. So now I'm back in here. I'm going to go to security, change the configuration. It says Microsoft only, but just click none and then Microsoft again and click OK, and you can see it says on the top boot enabled, secure boot. Everything else is here. I don't think anything else. Now date and time, no, boot configuration. This is where I want to put the lock on, which I didn't do last time. And now it's locked to Windows boot first. And then simply, oh, the touchscreen does work when it's in the BIOS. And restart now. And now when it restarts, there should be no red bar on the top. Ta-da! Now, once we connect to the internet, like I said, once we connect to the internet, it will recognize that I had professional version. At the moment, it won't tell me anything because I'm not on the internet. And then by going to the activation, it should recognize my machine and give me activated. So I'm connected. Now let's go to the, and you can see all the icons have appeared. Once I connected to the internet, all these icons appeared. For instance, the Microsoft Office and other ones. So let's go to settings and see if I have activation. And there you have it. Look at that. It says activation state active. If you can't see it, if you don't believe me, there it is. Activation state active. Bingo. So that's that. That's Windows 11. Let's check the version in case you're still not convinced. Ah, I forgot the touch. Touch screen doesn't work yet. The drivers are needed. But they will come from the internet, and there is an actual Surface Pro 5 Windows 11 driver, believe it or not, from Microsoft. So they do kind of allow it to be here. I'm just going to click here, WinVer. And there you can see I have the, see if I can move it to the middle. Move it to the middle, zoom in. I have the Windows version 23H2. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to install the drivers and everything, which they do allow on here. And if you don't believe me, you'll see as soon as I go to the settings. And it says to me, okay, download drivers. Windows Update. Check for updates. And then you see them all downloading. Actually, there shouldn't be that many because this is the latest version of Windows 11. So, checking for updates. And within the updates are loads and loads of Surface drivers for the touchscreen. Look, you can see them all now. Loads of drivers there for the Surface firmware, everything you like. So one thing I will remind you, if you look on my first video when I installed this, when you're downloading these drivers, it will get warm. It will get very warm, and you will need to rub your hand on the back. Ooh, I can feel it. It's really, really warm. I'm going to zoom out here to show you. Yeah, so just rub your hand on the back like so in order to absorb the heat. Your hands are great heat absorber. This is boiling hot. This is really toasty hot. So I might even actually turn it off just for a while. But when you turn it on and you need to download the drivers, rub your hand on the back and then it won't freak out. Once the drivers are installed, it'll be fine. It won't be, you know, overheating, as it were. So that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed the Windows installation. Give this a thumbs up and a click, and send me some messages if you're having problems. But if you follow exactly what I've done, it will work. If it doesn't work on your system, I apologize, but it will work on a Surface Pro 5 for sure. If for some reason it says it can't find your hard drive, there's something else going on there. But this will work. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for joining. Enjoy your Surface Pro. This is Surface Pro 5, 2023. I'm going to use this for another 5 years because of the new battery I installed. Check out that video too. Bye for now.